understanding of older people's rights and the role that a UN convention would play. It enables us to build new partnerships with others who can work with us and support our cause. It brings individuals and organizations at the grassroots and global levels around the world together in unprecedented solidarity. Our Age to Rights Global Rally is taking place now, a few weeks ahead of a key meeting of the governments at the UN in New York, where older people rights and a UN convention will be discussed. The rally is our opportunity to grow our movement and show our strength in numbers. A variety of events and activities covering a range of topics are taking place around the world, from USA, Canada, Argentina, Tanzania, Liberia, Nigeria, Cameroon, Mauritius and Rodriguez, Turkey, Serbia, Bangladesh, Philippines, and Nepal, to name a few. At the Global Rally Summit, we will celebrate the activism of older people and other advocates. Hear the voices of older people campaigning from around the world, and welcome contributions from ambassadors involved in these important international discussions. Now, a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. Today, we have interpretation available from English to French, Spanish, International Sign Language. So please choose your channel according to your language preferences so that you can hear each speaker clearly. Our event is being recorded and will be available in the Garrett website as well as YouTube channel. And plus, right now we are live on our new Facebook channel in Garrett. A couple of our panelists are joining us from more remote locations. So if the internet connections become unstable and we cannot hear or see our panelists clearly, our panelists will turn off their cameras. And if the issue persists, our panelists will sign off and then rejoin us again. So these are the realities that we're with, and we thank you for your patience and support with this. The following is the flow of today's event. We'll start with our 3 civil society activists. Then we'll welcome our ambassadors to the floor. This will take us approximately 40 minutes or so into the hour. Then we'll welcome our participants to a dialogue with our panelists for about 20 to 25 minutes during the Q&A session. And after this, we'll move to the end of the program with closing remarks from our panelists and myself. During the Q&A, if you can actually, instead of commenting in the Q&A box, please save the Q&A for questions and put your general comments, which we really want to hear and we really welcome, into the chat box. So once again, questions into the Q&A box, please. Thank you very much. And then now we are going to get started. We have 3 activists campaigning from around the world today. And I think if we could today, we will start with Emira Peridun. I have the pleasure of introducing Emira. Emira has an educational background in public health and biochemistry, and she has conducted studies on hygiene and health of workers across multiple sectors of work in Albania. Emira has written extensively on aging, older women's issues, and the legal framework for older persons in Albania. From 1999 to the present day, she has been the founder and executive director of the Albanian Society for All Ages. Emira was awarded the Exceptional Civic Duty Award by the President of the Republic of Albania. And she is recognized as a peace ambassador by the International Women's Peace Group. Emira, the floor is yours. Please proceed.
Thank you. I am Emira Peridun, representative of Albanian Society for All Ages. I am 76 years old. In Albania, the political and social structure have neglected the problem of the elderly. The infrastructure on aging is underdeveloped in both central and local government. The lack of access to services, inadequate pensions, and active age discrimination means poor quality of life and lack of respect situation for older Albanians. In the building next to me, 100% of the tenants are elderly. Albania's most famous folk dancer also lived there. This gentleman suffered muscular atrophy and did not have proper medical care. For example, I contacted the local government to get him a proper medical bed. Instead, they gave him a regular portable bed, so he suffered a lot of pain. Because there is no government help, his 80-year-old wife served him by herself until he passed away. At his deathbed, the 33-year-old neighbor helped his wife. The geriatric service is lacking in primary healthcare, hospital, and door-to-door service. Therefore, a right to healthcare and dignity is not there for older Albanians. The economic situation was worsened in the past years. Younger people are immigrating, and this means the elderly population is now 50%. While younger people can go and look for work, older people are suffering because they have limited pension. I personally, in the time of Corona, received only $80 in aid. In addition to my pension, $2,000 monthly pension after 35 years of work. Most of my peers get less. Some have no government pension after years of work. My neighbor was happy with her $80 aid. She could then afford her blood thinning medication, which cost more than what she received in aid and is not reimbursable. Although Albania have difficulty getting reimbursable medication, this problem is talked about in media. Older Albanians need to choose between eating, paying for eating, or getting their medication with their small pension. I lived in the same community for 40 years. We used to have two modest community venues of the former prenatal system, a public library, a community park. In 2019, the authorities decided to convert the park to only for cars. There is now no green space. Older women, also supported by environmental association, had a protest at the park. Media show our protest on the news, but the authorities ignored older women's voice and called for preservation. Today, older people and mothers with small children cannot find physical space for a minimal life action, like staying in a pleasant public environmental and talking to each other. This means older Albanians are more isolated and lonelier. Development has become a scary word for many communities because the local government has not taken any step forward to assist older Albanians in community with social services. UN Convention for Older People and Age with Right ambition is to support a place where people age well, where older women are valued, respected, and appreciated, and where older people are seen as the right holders. The Older People UN Convention is an important international legal document that pressures unwilling governments to take action now. Current representation is inadequate and stakeholders' voices are being muted. the UN Convention. We will emphasize the importance of endorsing programs and policies that protect the rights of all the people globally. Thank you.
Thank you, Amira, for the powerful statement. You referenced many themes, and we hope to be able to dig into them a little bit more as we go through a question and answer period. Thank you. Maybe now, if I can invite Krishna to provide your intervention, that would be great. Krishna is 73, and he has had a varied career in economics, agriculture, and rural development before starting Aging Nepal in 2011. He has been the founder and chairperson of this NGO since then. Krishna has played an active role in raising awareness of aging issues and the rights of older people in Nepal and internationally. With Aging Nepal, he works on issues such as care, social gerontology, basic and digital literacy of older persons, inclusive media, health, nutrition, and the human rights of older adults. Krishna has been recognized as one of the WHO Healthy Aging 50 leaders. Krishna, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret, and greetings to everybody from Nepal. My name is Krishna Gautam. Now I would like to present my statement here. The older people of Nepal, as of anywhere else, are not a homogeneous group. Some live in hills like the Himalayas, and some in the flat plains. More than 85% of older people live in rural areas of Nepal. Most of them are in poverty and compelled to work in informal sectors like farming. The old age allowance of Nepali rupees 4,000 monthly, which is equivalent to less than $30 per month, is barely able to meet their basic needs. Similarly, a large number of older people do not have citizenship certificates, and this deprives them of receiving allowances and government entitlements, and even contributing to the formal economy. Nobody wants to hire older people. Financial institutions do not feel comfortable to offer loans and insurances to people over age 60. So starting a business is challenging, and the government does not have policies that support older workers. The Constitution of Nepal has made provisions for equal access to health services for all citizens and provides senior citizens with the right to special protection, social security from the state. The National Health Policy emphasizes an equitable and inclusive health system. However, older Nepali still face challenges accessing healthcare services. Why, you may ask? Well, older Nepalese are the lowest priority when it comes to program and policy implementation. It is a sad act, but our older people that make almost 10% of national population of 30 million come last in terms of population. So do older people speak up for themselves and their rights? They are starting to do, but illiteracy is a barrier. Illiteracy limits them from accessing their rights and entitlements. Also, illiteracy results in lower confidence in speaking in the company of others who are educated. On the other hand, literacy brings knowledge, power, and confidence to stand up for oneself and participate in the society. We have one older woman who was always shy to speak in front of the older people's literacy group, but once she learned some literacy skill, she was confident and more vocal. This shows that a precondition of being mainstream in society is to be literate. These challenges clearly show that our older people are deprived from many human rights, particularly discrimination, the right to social security, right to work, right to social services, right to education, just to name a few. The current system is failing older people, and UN Convention will guide governments to protect the rights of older people. Thank you.
Thank you, Krishna, for your intervention. In much of our conversations, you highlight the importance of human rights to ensuring dignity in older age, and we look forward to more conversations on this during our Q&A. I now have the pleasure of inviting our third activist, Jane Miano. Jane, thank you so much for your work just now. With all the technologies to come onto the platform, we're really happy that you're able to join us. Jane lives in Nairobi, Kenya. She is 74 years old. Jane is aging with a disability, having suffered from polio at 8 months old. She's the founder and coordinator of a community-based organization called Focus of Disabled Persons. Half of this organization's members are individuals aged 60 and above. Jane is a community leader and volunteer. She's a resource mobilizer of assistive devices for vulnerable persons with disabilities and older persons. Jane, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry for the delay, and my photo is not very clear. Jane Miano, I'll read my experiences of the intersection of discrimination on the grounds of age and disability. I'm 74 years old and aging with a disability, having suffered a bout of polio at 8 months of age. Consequently, I have faced discrimination because of my disability in all stages of life. From my experience, disability and discrimination escalate with advancing age. Growing up, I was treated differently at home, in the community, and at work because of my disability. At 55 years of age, my situation got even harder, and I got confined to a wheelchair. This affected my financial situation adversely. I had to close my small business, which I had started upon retirement. I have reduced finances and thus dependent on others for financial support. When I was younger and still employed, I enjoyed my employer's medical support in addition to the National Hospital Insurance Fund. This support unfortunately ended with my retirement, even though I needed much more now to cater for my medical treatment and health care. Accessible health and health care for older people is of paramount importance to enable them to cope, especially with the non-communicable diseases which often accompany old age. In situations like mine with a disability, the need is even more urgent. The right to health care should not be denied to older people and older people with disabilities. In my endeavors as a community volunteer, I have witnessed older people who acquire disabilities later in life having great difficulties in getting assistive products through the National Council for Persons with Disabilities for lack of prior registration as people with disabilities, and as such having a long wait time to get the assistive products. Some are told to go to the Social Security Department instead. So despite Article 25B of the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which requires the services to be provided to all, including old people, it is harder than it says on paper. Meanwhile, older people with disability suffer from further isolation and poorer health. There is need for each country to have a national council for older people to protect their rights. Worse than not having access is being discriminated against because of age and disability. Recently, as I arranged for a trip to WHO for a meeting, the travel insurance company charged me double the cost and required a medical assessment form because of my age and a wheelchair. Then the airline demanded that I complete a medical form to travel with a doctor, even though I don't have other medical issues. To alleviate discrimination against older people with disability, Focus of Disabled Persons, a community-based organization that I volunteer with, raise awareness of disability and ageism, appeal for assistive products, and participate in meetings with government ministries, local administration, NGOs, and others. Yet, this is not enough. We need a new UN Convention on the Rights of Older People. The convention will go a long way to address the gaps in the existing international human rights institutions and protect the rights of older people globally. It will provide a platform for the voice of older persons for their human rights in policy making and implementation, the guidelines to the government for making the enabling policies and the programs to address the human rights of older people, and advocacy and lobbying for older people human rights by older people associations, NGOs, and stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane, for your intervention. Having had the opportunity to spend some time with you, to me, you really exemplify what right to determination means throughout the life course, and particularly in older age. We hope to continue this conversation in the question and answer period. Thank you to all of our civil society panelists for your interventions. We now have the pleasure of welcoming Her Excellency Paula Narvaez O'Hara, Ambassador and Permanent Representative of Chile to the United Nations in New York. Ambassador Narvaez, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Muchísimas gracias, Margaret. Espero que la traducción esté funcionando. Si me avisan, yo voy a hablar en español, pero si hubiera algún problema técnico, por favor, me lo hacen saber, Margaret. ¿Ok? Lo primero que quiero decir hoy día es que quiero hacer un reconocimiento muy especial a las organizaciones de la sociedad civil, que hoy día aquí como distintos representantes, activistas, tanto Krishna, Jane, Ermira, han expuesto el arduo trabajo que han tenido que realizar durante mucho tiempo para visibilizar la realidad de las personas mayores en distintos contextos. Quiero señalar también que desde mi propia experiencia personal, como funcionaria del gobierno de Chile, me tocó iniciar los esfuerzos por construir una institucionalidad pública que se hiciera cargo de las necesidades de las personas mayores en los distintos ámbitos de la vida. Por supuesto, en el ámbito de la protección social, en el ámbito de la inclusión social, en el ámbito de lo que se refiere a una vida de calidad desde una mirada integral. Por lo tanto, estas son realidades que me son muy cercanas y que entiendo también desde la propia experiencia como funcionaria del Estado de Chile. Hoy día, en un rol diferente, como embajadora de Chile ante las Naciones Unidas, estamos junto a otros países impulsando de manera decidida la necesidad de contar con un instrumento internacional vinculante que contribuya para que los estados adopten las medidas necesarias que se hagan cargo de las distintas necesidades en las diferentes esferas de la vida de las personas mayores. Es importante recordar que no partimos de cero para poder visibilizar los derechos de las personas mayores y el envejecimiento poblacional como una tendencia demográfica. A lo largo de la cumbre de los Objetivos de Desarrollo Sostenible, la cumbre del futuro o la cumbre social mundial, procesos hoy día muy relevantes en la discusión en este ámbito multilateral. Como comunidad internacional, debemos reconocer que a futuro el envejecimiento poblacional y el bienestar de las personas a lo largo de sus vidas son enfoques fundamentales de los cuales no podemos prescindir. En torno a estos enfoques, ya contamos con marcos existentes como elementos complementarios, como son las 4 áreas de acción del diseño de las Naciones Unidas sobre el envejecimiento saludable, el Plan de Acción de Madrid y sus 3 orientaciones prioritarias, así como las principales recomendaciones de nuestra agenda común del Secretario General de las Naciones Unidas. Dichas interrelaciones entre estos marcos pueden encontrarse, por ejemplo, en términos de la participación significativa de las personas de todas las edades en la vida pública, en el desarrollo y ejecución de las políticas públicas, la creación de capacidad para una acción integrada en todos los sectores, la vinculación de las partes interesadas para compartir experiencias y aprender de los demás, y el refuerzo de los datos, la investigación y la innovación para responder mejor a las necesidades de las personas a lo largo de sus vidas. A la hora de examinar la interrelación entre los derechos humanos y el desarrollo sostenible, en lo que respecta a las personas mayores en las futuras iniciativas de las Naciones Unidas, cabe destacar que el Plan de Acción Internacional de Madrid sobre el envejecimiento representa la primera vez que los gobiernos acuerdan vincular las cuestiones de envejecimiento a otros marcos de desarrollo social y económico y a los derechos humanos. Varias naciones contenidas en este plan de acción han sido vinculadas a las personas mayores desde una visión del desarrollo que se basa en la dignidad humana y son aquellas las que debemos reforzar con un respaldo normativo que vincula a los estados a proteger, promover y respetar los derechos de las personas mayores. Este vínculo establecido en el Plan de Madrid es pertinente en la coyuntura actual, ya que se estima que el número de personas mayores superará al de jóvenes en todo el mundo en 2030, por lo que el envejecimiento de la población mundial tendrá una gran incidencia en las perspectivas de alcanzar los objetivos de desarrollo sostenible. Más importante aún es que como Estados tenemos que prepararnos para cumplir con nuestras obligaciones en materia de derechos humanos hacia una población que estará compuesta significativamente por personas mayores. Además, aunque la aplicación del Plan de Acción Internacional de Madrid sobre el envejecimiento puede tener consecuencias positivas para el disfrute de algunos derechos humanos por parte de las personas mayores, este plan de acción aborda las cuestiones relativas al envejecimiento principalmente desde una perspectiva de desarrollo, como ya he dicho, y no ha sido diseñado para abordar de manera integral las lagunas existentes en materia de protección de derechos humanos. Por lo tanto, no es suficiente para garantizar el pleno disfrute de los derechos humanos por parte de las personas mayores. En nuestra opinión, y así lo hemos hecho saber en cada oportunidad que hemos tenido, es necesario elaborar normas internacionales de derechos humanos sobre los derechos de las personas de edad en forma de instrumento jurídicamente vinculante para su protección efectiva. Por ello, Chile se involucrará activamente e invita a todos los países a hacerlo en el grupo de trabajo abierto sobre envejecimiento, esperando que en su 13ª sesión pueda lograr avances en el cumplimiento del mandato de presentar propuestas concretas, medidas prácticas, mejores prácticas y también lecciones aprendidas que contribuyan a promover y proteger los derechos de las personas mayores y así podamos avanzar hacia un instrumento internacional que ha sido tan demandado por parte de las organizaciones de la sociedad civil. Solo quiero terminar mis palabras reiterando el agradecimiento, pero además diciendo que si en el horizonte tenemos la posibilidad de conseguir ese instrumento internacional vinculante, el seguimiento a la implementación de estos instrumentos cobra total relevancia. Y es por eso que la participación activa de la sociedad civil en materia del ejercicio de el accountability que los estados tienen que entregar en términos de cumplimiento de sus compromisos resulta también fundamental para el avance de estas materias. Muchas gracias por la oportunidad de participar con ustedes hoy día y quedo atenta, por supuesto, a si hubiera alguna pregunta.
Thank you, Ambassador Navarez, for your strong, you and Chile's, the country of Chile's strong protection, strong support and advocacy for the international legal binding instrument for rights of older people, and for recognizing and calling on the importance of civil society to speak up. In the Q&A, we hope to understand more about the group of friends and the position and the work there, as well as the regional core group. And we know that you need to leave us at about 55 minutes after the hour, so perhaps when we get to the Q&A, we'll start from there first. Thank you. Now, I have the pleasure of inviting our ambassador from Ambassador Federico Figueras Beltran, who is our ambassador and permanent representative of Argentina to the United Nations in Geneva. Ambassador Figueras, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret, and thank you very much for the invitation. And definitely this event, it's a timely event because there is no better way of building together a cultural transformation than what we are doing now, which is try to have a new cultural change to protect persons in vulnerable situations, that their rights have not been protected well from the international law point of view. And this is the time for older persons. We had just approved in WHO a few years ago the decade for healthy aging. So our idea is, are we going to finish that decade with more rights protected for older persons or less? And this is what we are trying to do in New York, in Geneva, and in other places with countries committed, with the civil society that, of course, I appreciate, because we wouldn't even have a Human Rights Council if it weren't for people like you and the civil society. So just briefly, a couple of information on what we are doing in Geneva. As you know, I listen very carefully to my dear colleague from Chile. They say that Geneva is the kitchen and New York is the restaurant. But there's no good restaurant without a good kitchen. And that's precisely what we are doing. In New York, in Geneva, we are working together towards this cultural change, towards a new international convention to protect older persons' rights. Why? For several reasons. First, the open-ended working group that Argentina has chaired, and so many countries like Chile and others are participating, for the last 12 years has addressed aging from the different points of view. And in all that experience, all the information that we gather, it is one of the main conclusions is that the rights of persons are not well protected, that there are gaps, like the ambassador of Chile mentioned. So here in Geneva, we have a progressive development of discussions and resolutions and statements and agreements towards this convention. First of all, Argentina, as one of the pen holders of the resolution 48.3 in 2021, in the Human Rights Council, this was the first thematic resolution on the rights of older persons from a human rights approach. As you know, this resolution requested the office the elaboration of the report that categorically asserted, and I quote, that the current international framework provides fragmented and inconsistent coverage of the human rights of older persons, both in law and in practice, and that there is a need to proceed without delay to formulate and adopt a coherent, comprehensive, and integrated framework for the human rights of older persons, while further integrating the concerns of older persons into the work of existing mechanisms, end of quote. And we organized a multi-stakeholder meetings that was very successful, that many of you were there. Over 450 participants, including 85 state representatives, 44 national human rights institutions, and 30 representatives from academia and researchers. So these steps are not as fast as we would like, but we know that what we are doing is a cultural change. And let us look into perspective in my concluding remarks. This year, we need, for several reasons, to be 2023 a game changer towards a convention on the rights of older persons for several reasons. First of all, we have the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the 30th anniversary of the Vienna Declaration. Those were social contracts, and the declaration is the first stone of a new international law approach, the international law of human rights. And after that 1948 declaration, we ended up with 10 treaties that have a specific protection either for an issue, whether it's torture or enforced disappearance, or for persons that particularly end up in a vulnerable situation and they need a special protection. And that's how we made a huge cultural change on women with an instrument, on children with an instrument, and on persons with disabilities with an instrument. And definitely for many of the reasons that we all know, the ones here today, we need to look at older persons departing from a thorough analysis on aging as a phenomenon of societies and population to a human rights approach. And this last point is not only because of the commemoration, we need for an additional moral imperative to advance in the instrument. You know, when I negotiated the Inter-American Convention on the rights of older persons, that already, as you know, is a reality. And I remember when we started the discussions on articles, on abstract discussions on vulnerable situations that needed a specific protection. The same happened in Geneva and in New York. We discussed abstract situations that needed protection. But you know what? The pandemic, climate change, and even now, what is happening in the heart of a war with global impact, what is happening with persons, older persons, and their vulnerability in those situations. So the reality has shown that all those abstract discussions on the rights of older persons had the flesh of real people that in the pandemic and these other events have been suffering. So I hope that this is the game changer year for a new cultural change on this, and you can count on Argentina always supporting this in Geneva, in New York, and everywhere.
Thank you, Ambassador Figueras, for your comments. what you say about it being a cultural change and that this year needs to be a game changer. I think it resonates very strongly with us in civil society. And we hope that in the Q&A session, we have a chance to talk more about that. Thank you so much. And now we're going to move on to the question and answer period. And what I'm going to look for is perhaps to see if there might be questions that's coming in either through the Q&A or my phone. Maybe first we'll focus on any questions that we may have for Ambassador Navarez because of her schedule. So let me just take a quick look. Oh, I see more coming in. Oops, I just need to minimize that so I can see the other. Okay, so let me just check my phone. So okay. Oh. My apologies. Actually, is Ambassador Vageras who will be leaving early in a couple of minutes. So maybe just let me take a look at my phone to see if there's any questions for Ambassador Vageras.
Dear Margaret, I have 10 more minutes, so maybe you can go with the questions that you already have for other panelists, and I
Okay.
can wait a bit, so no worries about that, okay? I will
Okay.
wait to get 10 more minutes.
Okay, thank
so
you.
much.
Okay,
my
so
pleasure.
I think we do have a question that's come in on the floor for both of yourselves, ambassadors. And the question is, what is it that more that civil society can do? Because we have been advocating, we've been kind of showing evidences and being there at the different forums. What else can we do to either help kind of move the convention forward or facilitate some more connectedness between New York and Geneva? Ambassador Vageras?
Yes, thank you, Margaret. I think that there are many things that you can do. First of all, help us talk to different countries of different regions to understand the importance of starting a conversation. If there is something that we cannot accept on human rights issues, it's not to talk about anything. We have to be able, through dialogue, to talk about anything. So if there is a need, there is evidence, there is a group of countries that would like to start identifying possible elements of an international treaty, that is a conversation that has to start. And so if you can help divide the work among yourselves according to your regional scope or your contacts on different countries and different regions in a multi-tax, radial way to talk to countries and help us, because that's what we are doing basically with a group of friends in Geneva, in New York. So that's an important thing. And the second thing is get involved with your foreign ministries in each of your countries, because definitely, and this is a concrete proposal if the time comes for a negotiation, we have to reproduce the excellent experience of the Convention on the Persons with Disabilities, which was that the civil society had a very strong participation in the negotiation, and many countries included civil society organizations of the countries in the delegations as advisors. And as I remember, that was the first human rights treaty that during the negotiation, civil society organizations of countries were part of the delegation as advisors of each country during the negotiation. So definitely, if we ever come to that point, at least Argentina will be proposing that civil society organizations of Argentina are part of our delegations to advise us on how better deal with the negotiation.
Thank you for that very helpful guidance. Ambassador Navarez, we do have another question for you also, but did you want to comment first? Or
Very quick, just to add the importance that the civil society organizations in your capitals can mobilize the commitments from your governments and be involved in the next session of the open group in April, 3 to 6 of April this year. And it's very, very important because we are, we are pursuing the outcome that in that occasion, to have the commitment from capitals to have this decision for a convention. So I think that you need to move a bit in your capitals and try that your authorities from there can put here in the UN this decision. So this is a very concrete mobilization that is needed to do now, in this month.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for emphasizing. Yeah.
And the other question is?
Yeah. So the other question is, how do you expect the Human Rights Council? Oh no, sorry. Actually, that's a question for. Oh,
for
sorry.
For Federico. Yeah.
So
I
Ambassador
can
Navarez.
quickly answer if Paula allows me, because I have to leave for a panel in the Human Rights
Okay.
Council. And thank you, Paula.
Yes.
So can you finish the question so I don't leave it without an answer? How the Human Rights Council?
Oh, how do you expect the Human Rights Council to react to the report of the multi-stakeholder meeting held last year? Would it provide some guidance or recommendations to the open-ended working group?
I hope the Human Rights Council this game change year reacts, starting a process of creating a working group within the Human Rights Council to identify possible elements of an international convention on the rights of other persons. Because the evidence is there, we don't need to, and people are aging, and we need future generations to have from now their rights better protected when they become older. So this is the reaction that I would like to expect this year, to start a working group on identifying possible elements of a treaty. And here in the kitchen, we are ready to do that.
Thank you. That's so hopeful for us to
And
hear. And we'll keep
I
pushing.
apologize, I have to leave, but a pleasure, and thank you very much. A pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Vageras. Thank you for your time and your good guidance. Ambassador Navarez, the question is, as chair of the group of friends in New York, what sorts of issues do you expect will come up regarding the core group's draft decision to be presented at upcoming open-ended working group on aging?
So we hope that we will have a first outcome on the gaps, normative gaps that we have or the state has today in different areas. And I think that's the very important outcome for this session in April. And also, the decisions to move forward on the necessity of have this international instrument that is a legally binding instrument for these matters. So I think that is the most important outcome for this next session in April.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think now we can move on to perhaps questions for our civil society panelists. And thank you so much, Ambassador Navarez, for joining us. We know your schedule is tight.
Yeah, I also have to go, but thank you so much again for this opportunity. You can count on Chile, and you can always reach us in order to have some conversations or dialogues or anything that you may need. Okay, thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of the day, evening, night. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Okay, so let's look at the Q&A box. We have quite a few questions coming in for our civil society activists. So maybe the first one I'll hand over to Krishna. Krishna, the first question is for you. And Ina Volkner says, thanks a lot, Krishna, for sharing the situation of older Nepali people. Can you give an example of how enjoying the right to education and being literate has empowered older persons in other ways? Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret, for this opportunity. I think that's a very important way. I'll try to put it through a short story. we were, we run literacy class for older people. In the class, we were talking about elder abuse in the class. When a new learner, we mean the person who started learning basic literacy at their old age. So that new learner stood up and suggested, yes, elder abuse is one of our major concerns that nobody wants to talk about. So let us take out a strict rally calling for the government and society to stop elder abuse where they see it. Yes, we can do it because now we are educated too. That's what the emphasis of the older lady was. This shows the confidence developed with literacy. She was ready to go out in the street and make slogan. That was not possible for her to think if she didn't have the literacy. So literacy really empowers people to speak for themselves and on their own. Thank you.
Thank you, Krishna. Thank you for that response. So next question, if we could perhaps go to Jane. Jane, is a question for you. How can we improve financial security for older people with disability? Oh, Jane, you just need to unmute and then you're good to go. Somehow you spoke. Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you. That's good. Thank you.
Mhm. What was the question about?
Yeah, I'll repeat the question. The question is, how can we improve financial security for older people with disability?
Yes, I will answer that, and you'll allow me to quote from Kenya, what is known to us. And although Kenya has some social protection schemes to support persons with severe disabilities and older people who are 70 plus through cash transfers, there are still many people, persons with disabilities and older persons who are yet to be identified and reached with help. The criteria to identify the disability severity is not standardized, and older persons do not get the support automatically upon attaining 70 years of age. In addition, those receiving any pension, no matter how little, do not qualify either for either schemes. Personally, I do not benefit from patients or of Social Security for persons with disability or for older people. This is because of a small work retirement pension that I have. However, it is not enough for my upkeep and health care. I am therefore looking forward to a UN Convention on the Rights of Older People, which would acknowledge the combination of challenges faced by older persons with disabilities and recommend adequate social protection for older persons with disabilities.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you for that answer and that passionate call. The next question that I have received on my phone is actually for Emira. Emira?
Yes.
How can more older people be seen and treated with their rights?
Thank you, Margaret. We need to make older Albanian women visible, be independent, and maintaining dignity. What needs to be done is we need to collect and analyze data on older women. For example, older women experience different forms of elder abuse, older women income levels, their education, and their participation at the local level. The UN Convention will help will help make data collection come true for us so that we can use the data for reducing abuse, development planning, and programs.
Thank you, Amira. You pointed to the fact that data is really an issue, and I think it's been flagged many times, and even in some of the conversations with Krishna. So that's really important piece that we need to, as Ambassador for Jersey, as civil society start to look at the elements of a possible instrument, something that we need to emphasize. Thank you for that. Other questions on the floor? Let me just see. There is one from Jeff Rubin that says, ask our panelists to comment, what is the cost of not doing anything? So maybe perhaps we can go with that. I see Krishna smiling. So Krishna, I think you're passionate about that topic. So what is the cost of doing nothing? So maybe you can share with us on that.
Yeah, there is answer in the question itself. It is very costly, and you don't know how big that cost is. If there is something that you can do to improve the future for our generation and the older people of today and older people that are going to be older after some years, so not doing something will be very unjust, both for us and for the coming generation. So we are not, it's not moral. I mean, if you see the problem and don't do anything about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Krishna. So I see a couple of questions in the chat box that is actually quite hefty because it talks more about the general movement as a whole. So I recommend perhaps reaching out to us via our email address, and then we can have a discussion further on those questions and to invite others into those questions. That would be really helpful. Let me see if there are other questions in the Q&A. So it doesn't look like we have other questions at this point. How about if we start moving toward some of the closing remarks from our panelists as well as from myself before we wrap up. So Jane, may you be able to help us with your closing remark?
Just a moment. Wow.
Yeah, you're on. You're good.
Good. My voice as an older woman with disabilities matters because I'm speaking from my experiences. From the examples of my real life experiences, there are some conspicuous gaps in the existing human rights institutions that need urgent attention from all stakeholders. I'm therefore appealing to the governments to quicken the process to produce a UN Convention on the Rights of Older People in the shortest time possible, so that all older people can age with rights.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you for your closing remarks. Amira, your closing remarks, please. Just unmute before you start. Thank you.
What's wrong? Something wrong.
We can hear you, Amira. Please go ahead.
Yes, you heard me? Heard? You heard me?
Yes, we hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Very good. We hear you.
What? Any question?
Any final remarks you want to say? We're wrapping up. Any final remarks?
Yeah. No remarks? I vote UN Convention for older people, including older women. Right now, we have laws, but they are not applied to protect older people's human rights. This means older women have no programs and services for their daily lives, and they become not active in the community and family. However, older Albanian women can do a lot for their community. For example, we have a great woman expert on the environmental who helped our people a lot during the earthquake, our earthquake. Having the convention means more older Albanian women and men will have their rights protected and be able to exercise their rights to participate and contribute to our country with their education and experience.
Thank you, Amira. Krishna, please help us with your closing remarks. Oh, you still.
Yes. Yeah, hearing all my friends and whatever I said in my presentation, what I think is ratification of the UN Convention for the Right of Older People is one of our major agendas in Nepal. We want all to age with our rights. It's not good to age without rights. Especially in our country, we see that many times in many areas, our rights goes on decreasing while our age increases, and that's unacceptable. So we are pushing for our government to support the convention and to participate in open-ended working group on aging. Each year, we submit inputs to the United Nations on the occasion of the open-ended working group on aging and hand over a request letter to our concerned government to participate in it. This week, we already handed over our request letter to them to go to the government to go and represent in the convention. But I doubt because of the political system, but at least they are aware of what is going on the rights of older people. Thank you, Margaret.
Thank you, Krishna, for your intervention and for sharing with us that the work that you and Aging Nepal and your colleagues, older people in your country continue to do, as we all do, in terms of pushing with our governments to actively participate. Thank you. So thank you to all of our panelists for your closing remarks. Your remarks really sum up for us the purpose of today's conversation and the goal that we're pursuing. As I reflect on your words and on today's dialogue with our ambassadors and participants and yourselves, here are the thoughts and call to actions that come to my mind. First, we are stronger together. The support that I've seen us providing to each other throughout the rally week and the use of the Age with Rights rally cry is invigorating and formidable. This is how we need to breathe life into our movement. However, this cannot just be a moment in time, but a way of being for us. Together, we are stronger. Second, voices are powerful, especially those of older people. Let's continue to build bridges and bring these voices to our government. Be part of Garrett's video campaign. One of our members got a one-on-one meeting with the president of her country because of a 2-minute video on the convention. Her words and passion came through in 3D uncensored. So let's fill our government's inboxes with advocacy calls. And as you heard earlier, our ambassadors encourage us to really connect with our governments and speak up. So let's really do that. Third, and the final, the work and the road ahead is challenging in terms of the work that we need to do. But as Nelson Mandela says, to deny people the human rights is to challenge the very humanity. So I invite all of us, be we part of the Global Alliance or yet part of the Alliance, to join hands for coordinated voices and a concerted effort in the times ahead toward the convention so that all older people can age with rights. With this, I would like to thank all of you for your participation I would like to thank our wonderful interpreters today for their support. And I would really like to thank and recognize Ellen and Tonike of our Secretariat Office for the support and contributions that they provided us all through the Global Rally Week. So a recording of the session will be uploaded to the Garrett website. Your questions and comments after today's session are more than welcome. Please send us an email. Thank you so much. The summit is now closed.